bestaat, heb ik nog nooit iemand anders horen zeggen buiten ik en Thomas.
Nee, ze hebben dat misschien nog niet gezegd, maar je merkt dat gewoon aan de reactie daarna van, het is toch niet goed.
Bankai. Oh, mijn nek, jong. Hey Tibi, ik heb trailer gekregen van Voyage Chronicles.
Ja, ga je spelen?
Ik heb nog niet, ik heb alleen, die trailers waren summoning trailers, ik ga ze niet zien. Maar ik ga eerst even mijn handen wassen. Ja. Ja, ik denk wel dat ik dat ga spelen.
Nice. Ja, redelijk. Sava units. Probeer mij units te zenden, maar ik had eerst niet goed door hoe dat moest. Ik ben er echt nog ver van, dus ik ken nog niet zo super goede dingen. Ik heb een paar 5 stars, maar niks dat echt super goed is ofzo.
Oh, maar dat is een begin. Maar ik ga
Ik
wel...
heb wel Wano Broek, sorry dat ik zo ontbreek. Ik heb wel Wano Broek, hij hoort als je hem volledig upgrade, dat hij like een van de sterkste damage dealing units is in heel de game momenteel.
Ja, maar dat is goed, want als je die characters nu al hebt.
Het enigste probleem is, hij doet veel damage, maar hij doet amper, hij heeft amper HP. Hij is echt zo'n glass cannon.
Ja, dat heb je wel vaak bij mensen die veel damage doen. Wat ik wel wil zeggen is dat ik ga eten en mijn handen ga wassen.
Ah, smakelijk.
Thanks.
Designers slap them together very quickly and freely, and they're often too rough and unfriendly to gain much of a following. They're built more for the joy of building them than as polished products. In a certain way, Sexy Hiking is the perfect embodiment of a B game. It's built almost entirely out of found and recycled parts, and it's one of the most unusual and unfriendly games of its time. In it, your task is simply to drag yourself up a mountain with a hammer. And that act of climbing, in the digital world or in real life, has certain essential properties that give the game its flavor. No amount of forward progress is guaranteed. Some cliffs are too sheer or too slippery, and the player is constantly, unremittingly in danger of falling and losing everything. Anyway, when you start Sexy Hiking, you're standing next to this dead tree that blocks the way to the entire rest of the game. It might take you an hour to get over that tree, and a lot of people never got past it. You prod and you poke at it, exploring the limits of your reach and your strength, trying to find a way up and over. And there's a sense of truth in that lack of compromise. Most obstacles in video game worlds are fake. You can be completely confident in your ability to get through them once you have the correct method or the correct equipment or just by spending enough time. In that sense, every pixelated obstacle in Sexy Hiking is real. The obstacles in Sexy Hiking are unyielding, and that makes the game uniquely frustrating. But I'm not sure Jazzuo intended to make a frustrating game. The frustration is just essential to the act of climbing, and it's authentic to the process of building a game about climbing. A funny thing happened to me as I was building this mountain. I'd have an idea for a new obstacle, and I'd build it, test it, and it would usually turn out to be unreasonably hard. But I couldn't bring myself to make it easier. It already felt like my inability to get past the new obstacle was my fault as a player rather than as a builder. Imaginary mountains build themselves from our efforts to climb them, and it's our repeated attempts to reach the summit that turns those mountains into something real. When you're building a video game world, you're building with ideas, and that can be like working with quickset cement. You mold your ideas into a certain shape that can be played with, and in the process of playing with them, they begin to harden and set until they're immutable, like rock. And at that point, you can't change the world, not without breaking it into pieces and starting fresh with new ideas. For years now, people have been predicting that games would soon be made out of prefabricated objects, bought in a store and assembled into a world. And for the most part, that hasn't happened, because the objects in the stores are trash. I don't mean they look bad or that they're badly made, although a lot of them are.
Ik ken een golden bucket jump. 31 seconden. Komt omdat ik een nieuwe strat heb toegepast en bucket in één keer heb gehaald. Ik heb de windmill strat gebruikt op Bucket, allee op de islands.
Over time, we've poured
En dan
more
op
and more
Bucket
effort
zelf
into
heb ik
this
het in
vast
één
digital
keer
landfill
gehaald.
that
En
we
daardoor
call
heb ik nu een golden
It
split.
now vastly outnumbers and outweighs the things that are fresh and untainted and unused. With
Wacht,
everything
Storm,
around
zeg
us
je?
as cultural trash, trash becomes the new medium, the lingua franca of the digital age. And you can build culture out of trash, but only trash culture. B games, B movies, B music, B philosophy. Maybe this is what digital culture is. A monstrous mountain of trash, the ash heap of creativity's fountain. A landfill with everything we ever thought of in it. Grand, infinite, and unsorted.
Oh, kom aan.
There's 3D
Nee, dit
models
kan
of
een
breakfast,
PB zijn,
Gen
kom
X's
aan.
fanfic novels, Scan
Doe mij
magazines,
Disney aan,
green screen
Space.
Shia LaBeouf, banned
Kom
snuff
aan.
scenes on Live Leak. Facebook's got lifelike bots with unbranded
Fucking
adverts and candid
Space.
shots of Kanye
Ik wil
and
een
Taylor Swift
sub-6,
mashups,
please.
car crash, epic failed gifs, Russian dash cam
Alright,
vids,
dit gaat hem niet worden.
discussions of
Dit is
McRibs,
echt gewoon sad.
discarded, forgotten, unrecycled, muddled, rotten, untitled.
Kom aan, kom aan, kom aan, kom aan. Ja!
Everything's fresh for about 6 seconds until some newer thing beckons and we hit refresh.
Torben,
And there's years of persevering, disappearing into
Yeah.
the pile.
ken de
out of
sub-6?
style, out of sight.
Lekker.
In this context, it's tempting to make friendly content that's gentle, that lets you churn through it but not earn it. Why make something demanding if it just gets piled up in the landfill?